What is up, NFC North fans? What a week it was. What a week it's going to be. The NFC North is all about Thanksgiving football. And because it's Thanksgiving, we had to do this a little bit of a different day, but we appreciate you tapping in regardless. Man, I cannot believe we are already past week 12, headed to week 13. It's down the stretch, and the Chicago Bears, don't look now, are the best team in the North. Who saw that coming 12 weeks into the season? I know I didn't. I have a feeling Nick might have. I've got Nick. I've got Lepagus filling in for one bar. I've got Bass. And who the hell knows where Dose is? I probably wouldn't show up if I had to beat the Giants in overtime either. We'll still talk about the Detroit Lions, maybe from a different perspective. Fellas, so good to see you. Nick, I'll start with you, brother, since you are at the top, man.
Wow.
Talk to me. How you feeling tonight?
This is weird. Back-to-back weeks for the first time. Well, first of all, last week was the first time ever during NFC North Roundtable I was at the top. Now back-to-back weeks is, I'm starting to get a little comfortable here. I got a nice little chair in the corner, feeling good about it. We're at the top though. We're gonna stay here for a minute. I'm feeling good about this team. 8 of the last 9 teams on really clicking on all cylinders, and we did it without 8 or 6 defensive starters this past week against the Steelers. So it's a big win at Soldier Field, and 8-3 feels good.
Bass settling into being married, honeymoon, everything all done, ready to go. How's life feeling for you?
Good right now. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty in Packerland. I feel like a lot of fans are worried about this team, but at the end of the day, they're 7-3-1. And we're going to learn a lot about this team in the next 4 weeks. We already started it, this week against the Vikings, still got a commanding win there. We'll talk about it. But the rest of these games, man, for all the NFC North for that matter, we're going to really, really learn what these teams are made out of. So that much is interesting. Packers got a lot to clean up, but for right now, I can't be too mad or can't be too sad, right, for being 7-3-1 right now.
Lepagus, brother. Listen, we don't have to talk about present day Vikings. I see the Culpepper jersey behind you. We can talk about that iteration if you'd like. How are you doing?
It's not good. Not a good time to be a Vikings fan. The guy we invested our future in appears to be trending toward being a bust. It's too early for me to make that decision. But it was a horrible performance from him on Sunday. And then the whole kind of team just kind of deflated in the second half. So ugly football, gross football. Now he's concussed. We've been speaking with Max Brosmer. So if he starts to show out, then you have a whole new controversy you're talking about here in Minnesota Viking land. We'll see, but things are bleak right now. Things are bad.
All right. Well, listen, the NFC North is still a very, very fun division to watch. It's going to be heavily represented before Sunday even kicks off, with the Packers playing the Lions on Thanksgiving, the Bears and Eagles Friday. I think the best thing about, we'll actually talk about the Bears here in a minute, but I think the best thing about the promo for the Bears versus Eagles, and this should make you feel good, Bears fans, they called it 2 juggernauts facing off on Friday. That's got to feel really, really good as a Bears fan. You haven't felt that in quite some time for sure. But first, we are going to talk about the game that was had within the division. The Packers, who have played down a competition, I would say, a lot. We've talked about style points and all these things. To your point, Bass, it really doesn't matter. They keep winning regardless of how it looks. No Jacobs, doesn't matter. 23-6 dominated the Minnesota Vikings. I was very, very impressed with the Packers. Since your team won, we will start with you. Talk to me about what you saw in this game.
Yeah, just like you said, we played down to competition a lot, and that was kind of my worry heading into this game. You looked at every advanced metric statistic about J.J. McCarthy, and everything showed you one of the worst starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And you worried that even though how good the Packers defense has been, at times they make bad quarterbacks for some reason find success. So I was really worried about that heading into this game. But it was not that at all. And thankfully it wasn't, because we made a bad quarterback look bad. And I don't want to pile it too much onto JJ. It's just you're thrown into a situation, you deal with some injuries this year. The defense is not the same as it was last year. Things just aren't clicking. But I mean, it was a terrible game. It was a terrible game by him. And it wasn't just because the Packers defense has a lot of talent, but it's because he just continues to be a very inaccurate quarterback, and his decision-making and his processing time is just not where it needs to be. For the Packers to hold him to 87 yards is great for this defense. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a measly 4.6 average, a quarterback rating of 34.2. The one thing that the Vikings started to do well at the beginning of the game was run the football. And this is what I expected, because teams in the past few weeks have been playing a lot of keep away against the Packers. Okay, let's start by running the ball on first and second down, making it second down, third down manageable, and just try to control the clock. And for all intents and purposes, they were kind of doing that at the beginning, but then they lost the lead early due to the incompetency of JJ McCarthy. So then the Packers had the lead late into the second half and forced them into their passing offense, which is where teams are finding success against the Minnesota Vikings team as a whole. But, say if they had a competent quarterback there and were able to do some things passing, I think this game would have looked a lot different, because they were finding success on the ground. Jordan Mason averaged 5.3 a carry, Aaron Jones 4.6 a carry. And, this Packers run defense still is a little bit suspect to me. Obviously, they were able to control the clock, get multi-score lead, and really dictate what the Vikings were doing on offense there. But I did like from this defense, obviously, the pass defense. We had Evan Williams with an interception. Somehow Isaiah McDuffie got an interception. So our first game with 2 interceptions, which is great to see. And that's without Quay Walker playing. McDuffie took over at the mic. Hopper came in at strong. And then also Keyshawn Nixon checked out, I believe, the first or second drive. He's our cornerback number 1, as many people don't like that, but he is our cornerback number 1. And Kamal Haddon, who really has played no football for us, former, I think, 6th round from the Chiefs a couple of years ago. Packers signed him last year off their practice squad. He came in and played some good football at pretty much cornerback number 1. Now, obviously, different story if, again, there's a better quarterback there that is able to get the ball accurately to Justin Jefferson, but holding him in check is impressive regardless of who's at quarterback. 4 catches, 48 yards. So I was really proud of this passing defense. And of course, you got to talk about the pass rush overall. Sacking JJ McCarthy 5 times. I mean, they made him see ghosts back there. What we were talking about with Sam Darnold a few years ago. It really looked like that. I mean, there was times where he was just kind of getting into a sack situation when he had a guy open, whether it was a check down, whether it was a running back in the flat. Like when you watch the film, he had a guy open, and yeah, he's getting pressured really, really quickly because Micah Parsons is just that guy. But I really enjoyed seeing this pass rush come to life late in this game. And overall, the Vikings, most of the second half had like negative 22 yards net. And then due to their last garbage time drive, ended up, I think, at negative 1 yard net the entire second half. So it was an absolute domination by this defense. For the Packers offense, I know there's a lot of worry coming out of this game. Like, wow, we still didn't let Jordan Love sling the ball. He only threw the ball 21 times, 139 yards. He didn't need to. So if you don't need to, and you're running the ball so consistently, and again, it wasn't for a crazy average, but we ran the ball 42 times, controlled the clock, and still won by 17. You didn't need to. And here's another key point for this. Jordan Love entered the game with an AC joint sprain on his left shoulder. The same thing that many people are making a huge deal about with Baker Mayfield right now. Jordan has the same injury. So to get him healthy with a quick turnaround, get him through this game healthy with a quick turnaround to play the Lions this Thursday, that was up at the top in terms of importance, right? Right next to winning the game. So if they were able to win in an unconventional way where Jordan Love didn't have to play hero ball or make crazy throws or even throw a touchdown, that's completely fine. You still won by 17 points against a divisional opponent that, is coached well on defense. I don't think they have the ball players to have the defensive performance like they did last year, but it's still a very well-coached defense. And you're able to run the ball as successfully as you did without your starting running back, with Emmanuel Wilson at the top there, 28 carries, 107 yards, not a crazy average, but just overall very impressed with this team to kind of stick it out in a different way. Be able to just straight up run the football, something they haven't been able to do real consistently this year. Jordan Love didn't have to create crazy plays or make crazy throws, and then the defense just hammered it out and finished it in the end. So really impressed with that, and they didn't have to do too much, and that's the beauty because we have such a quick turnaround this Thursday. So yeah, really nice game by the Packers. I'm excited for this Thursday against the Lions, and I think they have a lot to go off of from this game.
Talk to me about that viral video of Parsons just running over offensive linemen to get to JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
It looks like a cartoon. This is absolutely crazy.
It is. I mean, the disrespect Micah gets. I mean, it's you have like guys like Skip Bayless calling him not a physical football player, which obviously he just says stuff just to say stuff. But it's crazy. I mean, what this guy can do against offensive linemen, And I think Ryan Kelly somehow was still their highest graded O lineman out of this game. So that's crazy. But what he's able to do and what you see teams try to do, I saw multiple snaps of the Vikings literally triple teaming him. And for him to able to go against someone like Christian Darrisaw, who's a really good tackle in this league, and make him look like not a good tackle in this league is so impressive. And what he has done for this defense has really helped it a lot. So it was just a cherry on top to watch that sort of play happen multiple times where he's just running guys over.
Well, up against the story for your Minnesota Vikings, not so bright coming out of this one. JJ McCarthy struggling once again. The offensive line not holding up, as we just talked about it. Any chance of making the playoffs is all but done for an extremely talented Vikings team. I remember just player for player looking at this roster coming into the season thinking, man, the Vikings can get even competent quarterback play. They are going to be very, very dangerous. Unfortunately, they've gotten much less than competent quarterback play for a majority of the season. And a lot of that has come from J.J. McCarthy, who's in essentially his rookie season. You definitely don't want to crush the kid. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks learn from that, come back better. I think that we pull the rug out way too early on young quarterbacks. That being said, you definitely would like to see some more flashes maybe than what you're seeing. One throw a game here or there isn't necessarily getting things done. Talk to me about what you saw from your Minnesota Vikings and J.J. McCarthy in particular.
All right. Well, to be honest, this game actually started out the way I thought it was going to be, like a low-scoring game, good defense. I think we went down, got 3 in the opening drive. KLC was handling J.J. McCarthy with kid gloves this one. Heavy run dose early, short passes. He was averaging like 5.4 yards of completion. I think that's what he finished with. It was like lower than that when this game was going on. So he handled him very he was protecting him this game. It still did not work. That being said, I mean, it was it could have potentially been 10-9 at the half. It was 10-6. We go for the run game's working, right? And I'm going to go back a series because the run game's working. It was I think it was 2nd down and short. We throw these stupid little swing passes. J.J. McCarthy hits a Packer in the back. They run the same play again. He sails it over the guy's head. And then you got to kick a field goal. And then later you're driving down Packer territory. You could kick a field goal to go make it 10-9. And what do? You put T.J. Hawkinson under center. He's a moose on skates. He's under center, and he does a somersault, lands on his head, and then the next play we're stuffed. Jordan Mason stuffed. That being said, still 10-6 going into the half. Vikings defense makes a stop, and then what happens? The punt. Miles Price sits there, ball bounces backwards, hits him in the tuchus, and Packers get it, score, and after that, the Vikings, boom, absolutely just completely deflate. No one was even really trying anymore. I think it took the wind out of their sails. They know their quarterback struggling, and that second half was so hard to watch. McCarthy was so bad. Parsons was absolutely dominating Christian Darrisaw, and then he gets hurt. Donovan Jackson gets hurt. Justin School at left tackle. I might as well be playing left tackle. There's no shot to block anybody. It was bad. It was tough to watch. Defensively, this defense has been on the field. I think it's like 70 minutes last 3 games. The offense keeps going 3-0. These guys are just tired, and they can't tackle. This defense can't tackle. That was a big difference between the Vikings defense and the Packers defense. The Packers hit people. They wrap up. We took 3 guys to take down Dontavian Wicks. Are you serious? The guy weighs like $140. I've had dumps bigger than Dontavian Wicks, and they can't even tackle him. So we see it every single week with the secondary. They can't bring guys down. They don't hit. No one wraps up. Everybody's trying to – ever since Isaiah Rodgers had those strips against the Bengals, everybody wants to strip the ball. Just make the tackle, make the hit. But that being said, they held the Packers in check. It was a close game late, and once that fumble, that punt hit his ass, everything went bad. So, and now McCarthy's hurt. I want to talk about that because I don't think we were live streaming the game, and that was it was the play before the interception, the really bad throw. He scrambled. He got hit. You could tell he wanted to lay there. T.J. Hawkinson grabs him, pulls him up. Jalen Nailor helps. I don't think he was ready to get up. Next play, he throws. He sails over Jalen Nailor's head. Easy interception. And now he's got a concussion. And now he's probably not going to play. And now it's Max Brosmer time. And could he be worse? I don't know. I didn't think J.J. McCarthy could be worse than what we saw against the Bears. He was worse than what we saw against the Bears. I don't know. It's an absolute shit show in Minnesota right now. It's a train wreck. You see Justin Jefferson trying to say the right things in post-game pressers. He's trying to support his quarterback. The frustration is clear. The frustration is deep. And I don't know what you can do with J.J. McCarthy at this point. Like, I feel like we've tried. They've let him throw the ball a ton. They treat him with kids' gloves. It's just not working. He's just not ready. And if you go to the Max Brosmer option, and if he does start panning out, then you got this huge controversy brewing. And maybe you have a Brock Purdy situation here in Minnesota with Trey Lance, Brock Purdy. And I guess in the end, if one of them pans out and you find your quarterback, does it really matter if you got him? I don't know if we have him either way. But, man, tough second half to watch. And now you have all these question marks with this guy. You invested. You built this team around hoping he could be your guy. He's your future, and there's just serious doubts. I'm not personally giving up on him yet. I need to see more one way or the other. I don't want to watch more of this, but how can you make a decision after 6 starts to know this guy's your future? So, I don't know. It's just a depressing, hard time to be a Vikings fan right now.
Lepagus, you sound as deflated as a Tom Brady football. Listen, it'll be okay, brother. I think the most concerning thing is the injuries at this point. I mean, you're talking about somebody who missed a full season, his full rookie season, because of a meniscus. This year he gets hurt, misses multiple games. Carson Wentz has to play. Now he's hurt again with a concussion. I know they're all different injuries, but my goodness, brother, like, the injuries are piling up. It's hard to develop when you can't stay healthy and on the field. You talked about the 49ers and Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. I know that story all too well, being a 49er fan, and a lot of it was because Trey Lance simply couldn't stay healthy. He kept having injury after injury, and you can't develop a quarterback in that manner. So yeah, maybe the Brosmer situation with McCarthy can turn into that. That would be a blessing at this point. I mean, if one of these guys could pan out. You also might be looking at none of them panning out. If Brosmer comes in and doesn't look any better for the next couple of weeks, what have you, and this thing goes unresolved, you got to imagine they're going to bring in a veteran next year. Have you thought about that at all? Like, what are your thoughts when it comes to the quarterback situation in 2026 if neither of these guys seem to be it?
Yeah, and I hate to say it because I feel like it's giving up on J.J. McCarthy, but I think you have to at this point. And what's the popular name right now? Trade next year for the Vikings, Mac Jones, from San Francisco. And
we'll give you Brock Purdy instead. You want Brock Purdy? I'll give you Brock Purdy.
I saw him last night. I'm not interested. No, I don't know. I think you have to. J.J. McCarthy's not ready. But to me, it feels like a big fail. I know Jordan Love, he sat for 2 years, 3 years until he started playing. Yeah. But it's a different situation to me. Like, it's a different situation. I feel like this was the guy who KOC is this quarterback whisperer. He can fix anybody. He can do anything with anybody. And it's not the case. And he's had just as many failures at quarterback as he's had successes if you go back and look at who he's actually coached. And he's tied to J.J. McCarthy. Kwesi's tied to J.J. McCarthy. If he doesn't pan out, I think this whole regime goes down. And we're looking at, again, the Vikings being a mess and then trying to rebuild.
All right. Well, we'll see how it pans out for your Minnesota Vikings. Doe showing up just in time because we were about to get to the Lions versus the Giants, 34-27 in overtime. Jahmyr Gibbs goes absolutely bananas in this game. And the Lions pull this one out. Man, this was much tougher than you'd like it to be. But either way, they get the win. It's not always easy to win in the NFL. Dose, brother, first of all, how you doing, man?
Dude, I apologize. Let me just say in the chat, man. I was not holiday shopping, and I ain't ducking anything, man. Now, if I'm gonna duck, it's gonna be next week, just so y'all know. Nothing to duck right now. We handle business. You know what I mean? Next week, that'd be the time, man. No, it's good to be here, man. I apologize for being late.
No, it's all good, brother. I'm very happy to see you. Talk to me about what you saw from your Detroit Lions in that overtime win versus the New York Giants.
Yeah, what a nuts game. I mean, you know what though? This is how I'm looking at it. Well, to start here first, this is what I love as an NFL fan. Because there is that part of you where you step back and you're like, okay, you can talk about like how much did you beat a team by, like what were you supposed to do, that kind of stuff. That matters. But ultimately, like as a fan, when you're kind of just sitting back and watching, like my job on Sundays is not to coach a team, it's just to watch and play. So when your job is just to watch and play, there is a fun to just those kind of games. Like I love those football games. I mean, at the end of it all, like those games are the most entertaining. It's one, you blow people out, but that's fun. That's what it's about being a fan. So I loved it from that side of things. The game, not great. All right. It was kind of ugly. But that said, I give credit to Jameis Winston. Start there first. I mean, he played for Jackson Dart, and I don't know what it is, but I mean, the fact that they were starting Russell Wilson over him just feels insane. Like watching this guy play. I mean, he can throw the ball all over the place, and they always seem to have a pretty good plan. I don't know if this has been the case for a while now, but I feel like over the last few weeks they've had a pretty good plan for like coverages they get. Typically, they make some sense with the running offensively, and I thought that showed up in our game. Our response was, let's get after Jameis, and they went about as aggressive, I think, as I've seen them be defensively this season. And while there was benefits to it, like we did slow down the run for the most part, and that was a goal coming in, the downside was 2 of their explosives were essentially, hey, let's check it down. There's 40 yards. And we just didn't have anybody covering him. I mean, at both times it was Jack Campbell who was manned up on the back. And instead we have them, basically he's playing man, it looks like. But as soon as, the running back doesn't immediately release, he's going to blitz. So he takes off the blitz. Both times they get out late, and it just turns into a massive gain. So 2 of those came from that. And then on the offensive side of the ball, it was kind of just unfortunately what the story's been, which has been like awesome explosive drives, big plays. The plan made sense. It felt as very simple. And this one was kind of weird. It felt simple as, look, if the Giants put a safety down, we're throwing the football. Whether that's drop back pass or play action, we're throwing it. That's where we're going to throw it. As soon as they drop a safety back, we're running it. And it was like the idea of we can push these guys around. And now give them credit, they did that. The offensive line showed up. They pushed them around the tackles, met the match. They're playing against a couple of good edge rushers. They handled them. So that strategy worked. It just was as well as a handful of just ugly, just drops, mistakes, things like that cut drive shorts, bobbles, kind of like weird time stuff before halftime that felt like it stalled out a few of our drives. I mean, clearly we were trying to not allow those rushers to tee off on us as best as possible. I think we're going to do the same thing this weekend against Green Bay. But if we're going to do it against Green Bay, we just have to do it a much cleaner level than what we did in this game. So I'm grateful for Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm thankful for the Jahmyr Gibbs. It's that season, right? Thanksgiving season. Thank goodness for that guy. That guy is amazing to watch. And the offensive line showed up. And then defensively, I guess what it mattered most, kind of. I mean, that whole drive, that felt like a game where it was like, you have to lose this game. Nothing's going right. That last drive, it felt like 3 times we got to get off the field here. And then we didn't. And then Jameis takes off. And then he throws a prayer up. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. As you're watching that, you're thinking to yourself, this might not be meant to be. Like, we might be supposed to lose this football game. We had a pick. We go down 24-27, gives breaks one. Immediately we get a pick. And then we go 3 and out. And it's like, dude, there's something off about this game. And then Jake Bates comes through, and then Gibbs does his thing. So I'm just glad they found a way to win, because this divisional race is tough right now, and you have to make these games matter, because we're going to fall behind very quickly, losing games to the Giants. So just find a way, get out of there. The Giants play teams close for some reason, and we're on to the game that really matters now. You know what I mean? Is somebody laughing? What are we doing? All right, we're good.
No, it is a game that really matters. And listening to you talk, Dose, and we've talked a lot about it with the Packers playing down to competition, what have you. That's really the story of this season across the NFL. You got every single week, usually by like week 6, week 7, things just start to pan out across the league, where it's like, all right, the good teams beat the bad teams, and it just is. Every single week you got a team coming out of nowhere to win a game that you're like, how the hell did they beat that team, and not only beat them but look dominant against that team? And so the fact that the Lions this week had that game right in front of them, essentially, I mean, they had to fight tooth and nail to come back and win that game and do it in overtime. Getting a win is very important, especially right now. I mean, the Lions are on the outside looking in. Overall, we'll talk about the Packers game, but overall, watching not only this game, but just how the last few weeks have kind of panned out for the Detroit Lions, what's your panic meter at for this team when it comes to making the playoffs, Dose?
Okay, yeah, okay. So when it comes to making playoffs, I have zero panic. I don't know. There's like, it's I guess it's just what it's been with Dan Campbell. Like I don't even like look at it, to be honest with you. Like I put no stock into it. I just assume we're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, that's probably the wrong way to go about it, but I just get that feeling, and it's like they're gonna get in there. They're gonna find a way to get into the playoffs, and that's kind of my mentality. It's like I don't really care how we get in, just get in. I don't tend to have any panic with our ability to get in. I still think we have a core of things that we can lean on as a team, and it just feels like those core things are mainly on the defensive side right now, which is the weird part. It's been inconsistent rushing the football this season, and last week it kind of takes off. So I'm hoping some of those trends are now here to stay a little bit, but it just feels like offensively we've just been like a playoff or something a lot this season, but defensively we've been able to lean on them for the most part. This was a game that it felt like the Lions would kind of play last year. Not that close, but it was like, hey, man, when one side is kind of messy, the other side at least picks the other side up. We hadn't done that a lot this year. Philadelphia, I'm like, it's just nobody came through at any kind of point there. So at least we came through. I tend to not be worried about making the playoffs, to be honest with you. I'm very confident they're going to get in.
All right. I love to hear it. Nick, you've sat here so patiently, brother. atop the division, second week in a row. Bears beat the Steelers in another tight one, 31-28. God, that got really close at the end, a little skittish, but they pulled it off once again. We've talked about, I feel like we're doing this week in and week out, Nick, where we talk about how the Bears are finally winning these types of games, these tight games. They're finding a way to do just enough week in and week out to win. They're starting to get a little bit healthier. The secondary should beef up maybe this week, but certainly the week after, I would imagine, opening the practice window for Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson. Talk to me about your Chicago Bears and beating the Pittsburgh Steelers this past week.
You know, we were talking about it before the show a little bit, and like, yeah, they didn't have Aaron Rodgers, so that's like a big factor. But also, the Bears defense didn't have 6 defensive starters: Tremaine Edmonds, TJ Edwards, Noah Sewell, Kyler Gordon, Dio, and Jalen Johnson all out. This was the definition of a next man up mentality game. And that is exactly what this new culture that Brent Johnson has brought to the Chicago Bears. That was on paper. That was on the field right there. It's on paper. We just saw them play it out. And that's why you're able to beat the Steelers. I mean, Steelers were one of our biggest challenges so far this year. You know, Watt is an absolute menace. We saw that in the beginning of the game where Caleb Williams made arguably his one of 3 mistakes in the game where he gave it up and they ended up getting a touchdown. But this Bears team never gave up. The Eberflus Bears, the Nagy Bears later in his coaching regime, the John Fox Bear, all of them would have given up right then and there in the first quarter. They'd be like, all right, we're done. There's no way we're beating this team. Like, that was pathetic. Like, no. Ben Johnson has literally brought this team together, has made everyone believe. Like, Dennis Allen, our defensive coordinator, believed in everybody on defense. We had DeMarco Jackson out there, who was only playing on special teams for us this year. We had Ruben Hippolyte, who hasn't played that much, and then Amen out there, who's only been in 2 games because of being on IR all year. DeMarco Jackson came out at 15 tackles. Amen came out and had 14 tackles. Ruben had 2 before going down with an injury. And then we had a huge game out in the Sean Wright again, tied in the NFL for 5 interceptions. Now has 10 pass deflections on the year. And that guy was on the Minnesota practice squad last year. He comes to Chicago. Jalen goes out and he's playing at Pro Bowl type levels. So this defense just stood tall on it. You know, Montez Sweat heating up too, now has 6.5 sacks in the last 6 games, 2 of them against the Steelers. This defense just, they don't look good on paper from a rankings perspective, but they never gave up against that Steelers offense. They were running the ball really well. They had some nice passes over the middle. That's what they were doing, just these short little dump passes that was killing us because they knew our linebackers were out. But they all stepped up and did a really good job. And then the offense too, yeah, DeAndre Swift had that big fumble in the beginning. They never put their head down. They kept moving forward. We lost Jonah Jackson for a little bit during the game. We had a different left tackle out there in Ozzie Trapillo because our starting left tackle, Theo Benedict, was out. And this Bears team still put up 31 points. So I was very proud of how this team handled things. They did it at home, you know, winning 8 of the last 9, starting 0-2 on this season, now sitting at 8-3. They did a really good job just, again, believing in themselves. You saw the reaction of Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen after the game. And this Bears team is starting to do things that we're not used to. And I'm really excited about it because, again, we're just scratching the surface. We weren't even supposed to be doing this stuff this year. And we're winning, like you said, the games that usually we lose in heartbreak fashion. The Bears have been on the right side of it every single time this year. So it's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Listen, I've got to imagine that the reason that Johnson and Gordon didn't play this last week had as much to do with a short week coming up as anything. And knowing that, you know, you can lose to an AFC team, but not necessarily an NFC team. These tiebreakers matter. You've got the Eagles on Friday. We're going to preview that here shortly. But before we do, just talk to me about what it would mean to get Gordon and Jalen Johnson back on this defense that has been extremely banged up. We know that the linebacking core is decimated. The secondary is decimated. Getting those 2 back, I've got to imagine would be a huge, huge boost for this team. Yeah.
Massive boost. I mean, Kyler Gordon's great against the run. He can also play the safety position too. Jalen Johnson just is Jalen Johnson. But what's weird to say for me is that we've been used to it all season long. Like, we picked up CJ Gardner-Johnson and we've had Nashawn Wright, Tyreek Stevenson, who is injured right now. So it'd be really good to get one of them back. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's a great boost, but what we have has been working so far. It's a weird feeling, to say the least. And I joked about it earlier on my show when the injury report came out, because we still have TJ Edwards out or did not practice today. Noah Sewell, same thing. Tremaine Edmonds on IR now, which stinks. I jokingly said, I'm like, Nashawn Wright technically has the size of a linebacker at 6'4", but he's only 200 pounds, so he'd be quite a small one. But they need to find a way to keep him on the field, because when Jalen Johnson and Kyler come back, obviously they're going to trump that and take over. But Nashawn Wright needs to be on the field. And Al Harris, our defensive back coach, even said today during his interview, he's like, Nashawn Wright's one of our best 11 on defense, so we're going to find a way to keep him out there. It's a weird feeling, but it's going to be great having him back, but it's like a weird problem to have because I don't want Nashawn Wright to sit out. But we'll see what ends up happening. We still got a couple days before Friday, but there's definitely going to be some decisions made over the next couple days.
I think the most impressive thing that just happened is you used the word or phrase "Trump" that and didn't do a Trump impression. Very, very, very disciplined of you.
It took everything in me to not say it. It took every ounce of me. Dose, you're late. I hate when people are late. It wasn't very nice. You're a kitty cat. You're a scared kitty cat at the bottom of the screen. Nice haircut, though. That's okay. There you go, Jesse. I knew you were looking for it. Also, Jesse's internet. Wow. I called the guy and said, beep, boop, pop, you better fix that. And Jesse hasn't had a problem since. Very good. Very good. There we go. Anyway, Jesse, this is your show, not mine. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Ta-ta.
All right, let's get to some sleeper picks here. Let me dose it here real quick. All right, let's get to some sleeper picks. We're going to keep this one easy. We're going to highlight Green Bay versus Detroit because the game is just 2 days away. They've got a full slate here loaded, even on a Tuesday, which I love to have. Now, we're going to go different sport. We're definitely going to choose Luka Doncic to get at least something in the stat sheet. So that's a freebie. Let's go Green Bay Packers first. Bass, you talk to me. Josh Jacobs, I imagine, much like we just talked about. Yeah, just take the touchdown. Okay. But I imagine that he's going to play much like this situation we just talked about with the Bears. Short week, you kind of division game, probably better to sit him last week to play him this week. So I imagine he's going to be in.
He said himself last week before the Vikings game that if he misses any time, it's going to be one game and that's it. So he's like coming from his mouth. Obviously, a lot goes into it. You have to be cleared, but he's going to play.
Okay. All right. Anything else you see here? We got a McManus 1.5 field goals made. We got Jordan Love.
Still good with Watson. I went Watson last week. It went more. I'm going to do it again. And we'll talk more about it with the preview, but a lot of cover one from the Lions, a lot of loaded box. You know, you can get Christian Watson that on one play, 2 plays.
All right. Well, Dose, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel like 69.5 rushing yards for Jahmyr Gibbs is child's play at this point. I feel like this is the easiest more I've ever seen. You agree with me on this one?
Yeah. I've taken my L's this year with David Montgomery. Keep going back to that, Will. I'm hitting nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I'm glad that you're doing
more
this
on
one.
a carry.
I'm so glad that you're doing this one because your David pick last week looked real good. So.
All right, where's David at? Put David on there too. Let's do both.
Oh gosh, here we go, David. Well, he's got the touchdown. Should we go with the touchdown? I mean, I feel like every time they get the 1 yard line, that would be the one.
I'll be honest, I'll probably give it to Gibbs. I'm a bit like that's just kind of year that it is.
Rock right touchdown. That looks real good. I don't think he's practiced yet.
That looks disgusting. Can we go? Is there a rush yards for Monty? Is that a?
We can go less on that touchdown at least. Let's do it. Let's
like click in on it. You can do yards. Yeah.
39.5 rushing yards.
Oh, that's easy money. Yeah. Okay. Can we move it up? Let's move it to 55. What are we doing?
Whoa. You want to tease it up? 50. We'll go 50.
Move it up.
Jan's getting a little crazy. You must have been doing something before the show. Wow.
Like I'm gonna pump the brakes on this one. All right, we'll go 50. This is my own money, so let's listen. All right, let's view this entry. Hey, if we hit on this one, this would be massive. $10. We're not even gonna flex it. We're so confident. 10 to win 336. Here are the picks: Jahmyr Gibbs 69.5 rushing yards, Montgomery 50 plus, Watson anytime TD, Jacobs anytime TD, and Luka just do something with a pulse on the court, and we're good to go. All right, here we go. We're going to submit that. You can tail us or you can fade us, but definitely use promo code RTS to get your 100% deposit match. Link is in the description at the very, very top there. Definitely check out Sleeper. All right, before we get to next week's previews, we definitely have some super chats that we got to get to. These guys have been waiting patient, so I want to make sure that we hit these We got Chris Viking says Packers offense is still trash. Skull Vikings. Well, you got to love talking trash after
Their
getting your
offense
teeth
is
kicked in.
trash. I don't know
We
what
don't
their
care.
de-
We don't
If their
care.
offense is trash, what is the Vikings defense? That's all
We
I
love
gotta
Chris
say.
Vikings. We love him so much. Thank you, Chris.
All right, we got at Too Evil to Hope says McCarthy is so bad he couldn't be an XFL backup.
I like that
All
one.
right, well, you yeah, I bet you
Hard
do.
to argue.
I bet you do. All right, let's actually get to our other promo here. We're gonna add Dose back in, and let's see here. Let's see. Hold on a second. We got to stop this one. Goodness sakes. You know, StreamYard, all these upgrades you're making, hear me out. Hear me out. Let us share multiple screens. That would be phenomenal. All right. How about that one? Can we add that one? All right. Well, if it is, I can't do it. So maybe I could use some help backstage here. Either way, our other sponsor is RotoWire. Promo code RTS to get 15% off. They are the best tandem fantasy football app out there. But also, if you are playing Sleeper or Underdog or whoever it is that you may be using for your daily fantasy football, because I know that you are degenerate, so you're probably using somebody. We can go to Daily Fantasy Sports. We can go, actually, we're going to go Picks and Props. We're going to go to Daily Fantasy Pick'em. We're going to go to Sleeper, because obviously that's who we rock with here. And we are going to look at the AI system. How confident are they on the more or less? As we probably should have done this before making our picks, but they've got Jahmyr Gibbs, 104.5 rushing and receiving yards. They love the more on that one. DJ Moore, they love the more on 32.5 receiving yards. And listen, Tyler Shuck, not so much. They like the less on the 223.5. So these are the types of picks that you can see made. Speaking of division, Justin Jefferson, they like less on the 66.5. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. It's absolutely crazy to see this. But if you want some skin in the game, whether you use Sleeper or anybody else, make sure that you pair it with RotoWire. 15% off using promo code RTS. They will help you get your picks in and week out. Link also in the description. All right, fellas, it is time to get to our preview week 13. Here we go, man. I cannot believe that we are already at Thanksgiving football. This is absolutely crazy. Before we get to the Packers and Lions game on Thanksgiving, or at least the two that are involved in this game, we got to get to everybody else. So, Lepicus, we're going to start with you first. Packers at Lions, Thanksgiving football. How do you see this one going down, brother?
I think it's going to be a close game. I really do. I think the Lions will be able to run the football just fine against this Packers defense. Josh Jacobs coming back will be a good thing for the Packers. They pulled away late against the Vikings. They did struggle a little bit in the first half against a quarterback who was just not into it. So I think this is going to be one the Lions do take. Packers got game one. I think the Lions will come back even the series. 27-24. It's going to be a great game to start off Thanksgiving football. But the Lions will win this thing.
Oh, I love this. Okay, Nick, do you agree with this one? Who wins this in-division matchup, Packers or Lions?
I'm going to go Lions. Wait, where is it?
It's in Detroit.
For the first time ever. Yeah.
Holy moly. Yep,
Thanksgiving.
I'm going wait, that would make total sense. It's in Detroit. Yeah, no, I'm going to go Lions on this one. Sorry, Baz.
What's your score?
Yeah, I mean, we're used to hearing Packers, right? Yeah.
Wait,
what's the score prediction?
let's get into the score, Jesse. Let's see what the score is. The score is going to be a big one, a big, beautiful one, bigger than my bill. It's going to be 35-28. The Lions, the kitty cats. You're welcome, Coach.
All
You're
right.
not very nice to me, but that's okay.
That's not true. That's not true.
Bass, your Packers keep getting faded here on the panel. We're going to go to you first since your team is on the road. In Detroit, Thanksgiving, how do you see this one going down, brother?
Well, Jordan Love has been very, very good with Thanksgiving games, the two that he has played in. And I talked about it last week. I said to Dion, luckily, it's not a waxing gibbous until Friday. It's a waxing crescent, though. So we kind of got like half of it going on with the moon phase. We'll see what that means. It's the day after Thanksgiving is when it turns. So like technically, I don't know. There's a lot of weird thing going on there, but it's Toyota-thon, waxing gibbous, is almost there. In all seriousness, to actually point to some football here. Last week, I want to point out a couple important things for both teams. Last week, the Packers defense against this Vikings team played in 46 total plays, 23 minutes. The Lions obviously going to overtime against the Giants, have to scrape that out. They played 79 plays and 37 minutes. So the Packers should be fresher going into this game, more healthy, have more energy, right? They should get Josh Jacobs back. We'll see with Jaden Reed. LaFleur just said, I just saw his press conference like 5 minutes ago when we were on the show, that we'll see for this game. He was asked does he have to have a full week of practice before he returns, and Matt LaFleur said anything can happen. We'll see Thursday. So I don't think Jaden Reed will return, but he could. Now, what I said earlier, and I'll explain more about this, is Detroit loads the box a lot. Actually, I think they're 30th in the league in terms of a loaded box. So they're going to sell out to try to stop this run. And one thing the Packers have kind of been doing too much is trying to establish the run, even when it's not there, it's not working, and they're getting too predictable on 1st and 10. They're getting too predictable on third and 1 running inside zone out of the gun. If they continue to try to do that while Detroit's loading the box, I think Detroit's going to find a lot of success on defense. But one thing that I think if the Packers kind of rotate into, they're going to find a lot of success on offense is taking shots. The Packers are 4th in explosive plays in the NFL this year, and Detroit's defense versus explosive plays are 28th. And they play a lot of cover one. That's their majority of defense that they play. So there's going to be opportunities on the outside. We have no Kirby Joseph in this game, so thank God for everyone's knees on this Packers offense. They're going to be able to take the shots on the outside. Now, the run defense is a worry for this Packers team. Obviously, we just saw what Jahmyr Gibbs did, and he's scary. Like, he is a scary player to play against, what he's able to do. But honestly, like, I feel like David Montgomery always finds a lot more success against this Packers team. He's a really strong runner. Seems like every time he gets contacted at the line of scrimmage or a yard in, he's still, driving his feet, and he gains an extra 3-4 yards. And this Packers run D has been a little suspect. So if the Lions are able to kind of control the lead early, maybe put up a score first and really get into their run game, I do worry about this Packers defense. But again, this Lions O-line, it's not what we're used to seeing. Every single starting offensive lineman is on the injury report this week. And we saw what the Packers front seven just did to the Vikings O-line that had a lot of injury concerns as well. So even if they get into passing situations, I think the Packers are going to be able to find success pressuring Jared Goff. And I think the Packers simply just have to lean into the pass and let Jordan Love go out there and be Jordan Love, your $200 million quarterback. If the Lions get over 100 yards rushing, they're 7-0. If the Packers hold teams for under 100 yards rushing, they're 6-0. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to how the Packers stop the run, how the Lions run, if they're able to, if they don't go down early. Saying all that, I still think we see a Packers win, sweep the Lions this year. I got 28-24.
Oh, love it. He's got his team winning. All right. Dose, talk to me. Lions at home on Thanksgiving. Welcome in the Packers. Who wins this one, and what's the score?
Well, look, man, I love what he said about Dave Montgomery. See, now you're liking that bet. Jess, you were a little concerned until you laid that out there.
I was. I got to say, my heart fluttered a little bit. I'm like, I might just win this $300-something bucks. Here we go.
Yeah, we're doing work, man. People don't know behind the scenes. I haven't been wrong yet. So if y'all didn't know, I've been perfect on the season. We don't have to tell them that, though. Look, man, this game, here's my concern. I'm going to start here. And I do want to know, though, from Bass' perspective, and you may have talked about this earlier, anything on Nixon? What's the expectation there?
So it was a walkthrough today for practice, but he was upgraded to limited.
Okay.
I think it's up in the air. I think they're going to give him until game time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that matters a lot. But for me, it's kind of what Bass said. I think for their rush game specifically, because he's right. I mean, I look at this. I know my approach would be different. I would like to play a lot of 2 deep, and I like to blitz out of the 2 deep stuff to try to limit some of the vertical stuff. I know we played it differently in years past. Kind of just depends on who's calling it. It's a little bit different with Kelvin Shepard. But that said, my concern really does stem back to the interior defense line has done a great job over the last few weeks. And I think on paper they should do another good job again this week against the interior for Green Bay, which I think has been a little hit and miss with Banks and with Sean Ryan. I thought Sean Ryan did some good things last week, but just the interior as a whole, I think has been a little hit and miss. But I know their tackles, that brings a lot of good play. And for me, what we saw with the Giants, what they started leaning into is a lot of gap stuff. pulling offensive linemen. They were attacking our DNs. They were getting up to our backers, and that's when the run game started to open up. I do wonder if Green Bay feels like they can get into that a bit, especially for having to sit 2 deep safeties. And I think that would open up the run game in this game if they can't find success just getting downhill and moving our guys off the ball, because those guys have been the strength of our defense over the last few weeks. So that's the one concern I carry on that side. As for our offensive line, obviously the big one is Graham Glasgow. I would expect everybody else goes. We don't have Mahogany, so it's been KO'd. But I would expect the biggest one is going to be Graham. If he doesn't go, maybe Tristan Colon gets to nod. That'd be kind of fun. And maybe Miles Frazier. I mean, if we're really banged up, maybe Miles Frazier gets his first look. I'd love to see that. The rookie hasn't played yet. I don't know if he's there or not. But offensively, I think it's right what Bass said. I think we're going to run the ball pretty well in this game. Hopefully it is maybe a little bit of Dave Montgomery game. I think we're going to get some real movement up front in this one. And I know offensively it's going to be probably exactly what it looked like the first time around. It's going to be probably very patient offensively, a lot of underneath stuff, not really aggressive in the sense of like we saw against the Giants. They didn't want to put themselves in spots where it was deep drops and let's try to get a shot, and then we take a negative, and then we feel like we have to punt. And I think they did a really good job against the Giants. They didn't get into a lot of situations like that. I mean, sometimes you just are and you have to play through it. But I think they're going to look at it as a mentality of we got to avoid those many as possible. So as long as we're positive on first down, then at least the door opens for a shot. But it's just not going to be there if we're not playing that game. So just be cleaner offensively. It'll give us a chance in this game. I think that the cornerback position is going to be the most intriguing. The Lions, DJ Reed's back. I thought he played pretty well, just limited last week. Didn't play every snap. And today we let go of Arthur Mollett. Shout out to Arthur Mollett, man. We appreciate you. Maybe Teron Arnold's back this week. Maybe it's Rocky Sin. But one of those guys are going to have to match up with Watson. Rocky Sin makes sense for size, but I don't know how much we trust it. DJ Reed probably lost about a foot on Christian Watson. I mean, that's a big difference there, even though I love DJ Reed. So seeing how they decide to deal with that, to what Bass said, is going to be interesting. I like to see them be aggressive. I think Love's looked awesome the last couple of weeks to me. I think he's made some incredible throws. And I think for the Lions side of things, you just need to try to cut off the field as fast as possible and make him get the ball out of his hands. So that'd be my approach. I think because of that, there's going to be a lot of scoring. It's indoors. I expect that to continue. I'll go 34-31. Give me Jake Bates again. 61. Come on
61.
Now.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it. Well, 3 of the 4 picking the Lions at home on Thanksgiving. Another primetime game Friday, Bears at Eagles. The return of Gordon and Johnson most likely in this one. Lepicus, we're going to start with you. Who do you have winning this game on Friday? Bears at Eagles.
Yeah, I'll keep it quick here. I mean, the Bears still looking for that signature win. I mean, they beat the Steelers, which was great, but no Aaron Rodgers as Mason Rudolph. Beat the Vikings, at a fluky kick return at the end of the game to sneak it against JJ McCarthy of all people. I think it's gonna be a close game, but the Eagles are a better team. They're coming off a very tough loss against Dallas. They're gonna be angry. They want to atone for that. I do think they win this one. I'm gonna say 30-21. Eagles win.
All right, Dose. Who do you have winning this one on Friday?
Yeah, last time I picked against the Eagles, I think was for the Vikings, and that was a mistake. But that said, I still don't trust the Eagles offensively. I just don't think they're very complex. And I think that the Bears, Caleb Williams is going to play better than we did against them. I think they're going to be cleaner. They're going to take advantage of opportunities. They just have to keep it close. Don't fall down 21-0. I think they got a shot. I'll take the Bears 27-23.
Well, even if you do fall down 21-0,
well, I guess then you still do have a shot. You're
apparently.
right.
Yeah.
Take that what I just said.
Bass, who do you have winning this one?
Man, I haven't been, I get it. At the top of the North, I'm going to sound like a hater, but I haven't been sold. Like, I haven't been sold. The one team they beat with a winning record was this week. Pittsburgh. That's it. With Mason Rudolph, right? The only other team they've played with more than 7 wins at this point was Detroit in week 2. I know, obviously, them beating teams attributes into their record. I get that. But you look at the quarterbacks they played. It's Mason Rudolph, a guy that calls himself 9, Jackson Dart, Joe Flacco, Tyler Huntley, and Spencer Rattler. I'm not moved. I'm not moved. Jalen Hurts is better than all of those players. He's not by a far margin, but that Eagles offense is better than all those led offenses, in my opinion. And Saquon Barkley, sure, having a down year. I think he's going to have a good game. And I think these receivers are better than any receivers they've played. I got the Eagles, man. I got 31-21.
Man, I feel like I need to add a hater alert siren to the soundboard for this week in and week out. My gosh, but no, I'm just joking. I like it. I think, yeah, very, very sound thought process there. Nick, however, does not like it. Nick, talk to me about who wins this one, brother.
Baz, I have a real question for you. No, Jesse, keep us all on the screen. We need to see our faces here. Please. Baz, you missed mentioning a team that you tied against, and that was the Cowboys. You didn't mention Dak Prescott, who we shut down. His worst game of the season was against.
I was just talking about the last 6 games. In the last 6.
I'm a much better statement. Please be more accurate. No, I'm just kidding. I was just like, when is he going to say the Cowboys? Because there's a big one on his record, and that came from
To be fair,
So,
they don't have a winning record. They're not over 500 either.
it's a little weird. They beat the Eagles, and we beat the Cowboys. So beep boop pop. That makes us better. Anyway, I hear the hate. I hear like I'm not sold on this Bears team. I'm not sold on this Bears team. But like 6 times we have been put in the position of ending the game the way, or like potentially it could go one way or the other. And the Bears have come on top every single time. So for me, like this team, like I talked about earlier, is playing a lot better. The culture's a lot different. The offense is clicking. We still have most of our offense healthy this upcoming week. So I'm much more confident than I would have been going into this game. Like you guys know me, I always choose the Bears and will forever choose them. But I mean, like the way they've been playing, the way this offense has been, getting Jalen and Kyler back potentially is huge. TJ Edwards still not ruled out. Montez Sweat has been heating up and the offenses look good. I mean, we're top 10 in 3 of the 4 major categories. I got the Bears winning this one. And I think it's going to be a respectful score. I got it 28-21. We're going to walk into Philly. We're going to win that game. This team is doing really well so far. And what I love about this team too is that no one on it is like crazy overconfident. Like they're like, we're just going to go out there and play the game. So that's why I got 28-21 Bears.
Love it. Love the confidence. We're going to make this one really easy. Lepicus, you sit this one out for just a second. The other 3 panelists, we got Vikings at Seahawks. I assume all 3 of you are picking the Seahawks. Raise your hand if I'm wrong on that one. Otherwise, we'll just keep it pushing and we'll go to Lepicus. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. Lepicus, talk to me about this game.
Yeah.
What's your score prediction? How do you see this one going down against the Seahawks?
Yeah, only shot the Vikings have. Like when they played the Lions, they shot a bunch of pressure, ripped the middle, ripped the A gap. They blitzed the inside linebackers. Brian Flores knows Sam Darnold's pressure. He will make mistakes. That being said, we got Christian Darrisaw banged up, Donovan Jackson banged up. Let's look at the Seahawks D-line. Leonard Williams, 6 sacks. Byron Murphy, 6 sacks. DeMarcus Lawrence, 4 sacks. That's horrifying. They only give up 10 sacks on the year, their offensive line. Not a great matchup for the Vikings. Vikings lose this one 31-13. We get Max Brosmer does lead us to a touchdown, so that'll feel good.
Listen, if Brosmer plays well against this defense, this stout defense, man, oh man, you talk about that quarterback controversy. It gets real hot in here. Motown Mitch really butchered this one, but being somebody who types with fat fingers myself, I think I can make sense of this. I think he meant to say Lions rule, Bears drool, Packers are lactose intolerant, and the Vikings are actually queens.
Wow.
I think is what he meant to say
I am
here.
lactose intolerant. Thank you.
Oh, no.
I feel good about it. Hey, I don't know. Being lactose intolerant is somehow like a diss, I guess. I like it. Chris says, go Pack, go. Let's get this W. Well, we'll see if the Packers do get that W. We're going to find out in just a couple short days. Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Everybody in the chat, thank you so much for supporting the NFC North. Make sure you hit that like, give us the thumbs up, subscribe. It really helps push people to the channel. It helps with the algorithm. Enjoy your Thanksgiving with your family. Take it all in and also enjoy football. Somebody's Thursday is going to be ruined. We'll see whose it is next week when we return to our normal time and day, Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then. Until then, much love and peace.